Alright, so once again I'm at a relatively uncomfortable angle because otherwise, you see how I black out? Yeah, can't see me at all. So, this is what I'm gonna do. Sorry, just adjusting my socks, sometimes they bunch up around the toes. So, yeah, I like how I don't have to constantly give background information because on my main channel I end up having to tell my life story of the last year. And it's been a year since I made a video on there, and I mean there's a lot of shit to tell. A lot of shit has gone down in the last year. But on Tumblr, you can read the blog updates, and then you can see these, and it's all made a lot simpler. It's also simpler for friends who know what's going on. Like one or two of them have this channel, so they can see. Anyway, so I would say just got back home from Homewood, but it's been at least 3 weeks, maybe verging on a month. I really don't know. I haven't kept track of the time very well. Probably almost a month because it's the 11th. I have to wish my dad a happy birthday, by the way, because it's his birthday today. Yay! We already had family dinner out. And it was somewhere around the 15th, I think, last month that I got discharged. A little bit after that. So I spent 9 weeks there, and it was honestly a fantastic program. They did DBT, the whole program was DBT, and it was actually great because I mean, not only did it work for the eating disorder, but it also helps with the borderline personality disorder. It helps with the avoidance stuff. Really, it can help with quite a lot of things, including anxiety or whatever. It's just so incredibly useful, and it is actually a wonderful treatment for eating disorders. So I'm really glad they used it. Um, I suppose I got a lot of tools in my toolbox, so to speak, for sort of how to deal with life. I got a lot better at dealing with having emotions in general. Um, Feeling strong emotions without having to act on them in really unhealthy ways. I mean, I don't know. It was basically classes every day. I'm thinking about the video I just watched by my friend Hope164. You wanna subscribe to her, watch her videos, because she was there at the same time I was there, which is crazy because we followed each other on YouTube in 2006 probably. For a long time we used to exchange videos back and forth, and then all of a sudden we're at Homewood, and I meet her and I'm like, oh my god, I know you from somewhere. She's like, yeah, you're from YouTube, right? I'm like, holy shit. And I remembered it right away. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you're here. It was just insane. After how long of knowing each other, we finally meet in person at the same treatment center at the same time. It was just nuts. A good kind of nuts. But anyway, honestly, as long as you can get by without individual therapy, I'd recommend that program to anyone because it was so fucking helpful. And the minimum stay now is 3 months, 12 weeks, really. If you're on weight gain, you usually end up being there a little bit longer than that because, if you don't make weight on any phase, you can be held back. I think it's just because you have to be at a certain level of nutrition and a certain level of healthy weight, not healthy weight, but a certain level of weight restoration in order to fully participate in a lot of these activities, especially come phase 5, for example, which is when a lot of physical activity really begins. I mean, you have 2 weeks of assessment and 1 of preps. That's already 3 weeks, and then phases 3 and 4. So it's you're on week 6. If you make the phases on time, it's week 6 before you even get to start recreation, before you even get to start having proper walks. They really do it. It's one small step at a time, or a couple of steps at a time. Phase 5 is actually a big leap because not only do you have the extra activity, but you're given a meal that's not in the ED dining room. I believe you're off snack supervision as well. You still have to come to meal support or post-meal group afterwards, but that's only usually once a day. And after that, once you get on phase 6, you don't have to come to that either. It's optional. But yeah, that's kind of how Homewood went, and I was doing really well when I first came home. Like, weight restored, all that business. BMI is a little bit higher than 20, but really it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I'm like about 120 pounds. I think I was 120.9. Yeah, yesterday I was. But honestly, I've been hating it. I've been doing therapy with my therapist since I got back, because one of the reasons that I was discharged early was because, well, number one, I was decompensating on the unit, basically just meaning I was like going into a lot of emotional crisis like all the fucking time, and nothing was helping. But the second reason being that I had individual work to do, and they don't actually allow you to do individual work at Homewood, even if, like, say my therapist was willing to work with me while I was away, Skype conference or whatever, but Homewood actually wouldn't allow me to do that because they work on a team basis, and like if I had told one of them, I would have told all of them, and this was something that was way too personal for me to be telling the entire staff at Homewood. I really needed the one-on-one, and I really needed to be kept confidential. Like, only my therapist and her supervisor know, and it's not going any further than that. Like, they're not even going to discuss me without a name in that particular instance, because I specifically asked them not to, and it's not going in my therapist's public notes. She kind of keeps notes for herself and then does the public documentation for my record or whatever, and I told her she can't put it on that either, because it's just, I'm so basically ashamed of it and guilty and all that nonsense. But anyway, it's such a difficult issue that last week I was able to stand it for a few days, and I just couldn't anymore, and that was when the ED just decided, I sort of decided, I feel, because it was either ED, cutting myself really, really badly, require ER visits badly, and possibly cut an artery, or it was killing myself. Personally, I think I chose the lesser of the three evils, because the eating disorder will keep me alive for a more extended period of time. I'll actually have a chance to work in therapy. I won't be stuck in a hospital. So that seemed like the better option to me. I don't know. People really, when I put it that way, people really don't seem to be able to argue with me, and honestly, I don't think I can, because when you think about it that way, it is the lesser of the three evils, and if one, at this point, one of them has to happen, or else I am not. One of them has to happen, because I can't deal, I just, the DBT skills don't even come close to touching this, honestly, if they don't work. It's something I need to do in the therapy. It's something that's really only going to be fixed with this kind of psychodynamic / eclectic approach that my therapist takes. So I have to work with her. I have to, try to get over it. I mean, I know that sounds, it sounds punitive and non-validating, and also makes it sound a lot easier than it is, but she's very, very validating. She's a lot nicer to me than I am to myself. That's another thing. And she has a completely different view of the subject than I do. At the moment, I'm not even close to convinced that she is right, or that I can adopt her kind of worldview or her ethical stance about it. But maybe with time, I really don't know. I mean, I like it to improve, I just don't see how it can. It's kind of my thing. I'm aware that this is already 9 minutes long, but I don't give a fuck. If you don't want to watch a long video, then don't watch it. Whatever, you can just turn it off. Click. But yeah, so I'm really fucking not happy about the weight at all. I mean, minimally, I want to lose 15 pounds. Minimally. Ideally, I'd get back to the double digits. That's 20 pounds. Well, more like 21, 22 at this point. So, there's that part of me, and then there's the part of me that's like, okay, you already gained all the weight, like, and you have a better basis for recovery than you've ever had in your life before, and there are a lot of positives going on right now. And it's like, am I going to let this one little issue, okay, it's a huge issue, not little at all, but am I going to let this one issue like stand in the way of my entire life? And it's like, well, no, obviously I don't want that. I mean, I went to treatment for a reason. I was really super motivated. Like, as much as I hated gaining the weight, I put up with it because I knew I had to. I knew I had to gain to a healthy BMI to be healthy, you know? Like, and to fix the kind of physiological processes involved in starving, as well as deal with the psychological stuff, because the body goes through a whole whack of shit when you're starving yourself, right? Like, a lot of the reactions you see in a typical anorexic just come from being a starved biological organism, right? So, and they've proven this with studies time and time again. I won't go into it. You probably all know something about it. So yeah, the weight gain was actually essential. It's just that I really hated where I gained it. It basically all went like to my middle, like my stomach, my love handles, my back, like I have back fat, like on the bottom of my back, and it went a lot to my thighs as well. I mean, I gained some muscle too. I can clearly see that, and I felt so much stronger when I came out of Homewood. Like, I shot archery, like, no problem with the compound bow, which, before I left, if I was lucky, I'd get 2 or 3 shots out of it. I was completely weak, but I can do like 10, 15 shots before my arm is basically gone at this point. And I mean, considering that I didn't get a chance to do rec, I haven't been working on my arm strength. I've got a lot of issues with the shoulders, the tension. I mean, that's pretty fucking good. I think so. It's a much more difficult drawback than the recurve, which I can use forever. And I was only able to do like a few minutes of even the recurve. And I couldn't pull it back all the way back then. And now I can. Like, and it involves actually bending the bow because it's not actually long enough for me. But, like, there are so many perks to being a normal weight, and yet I fucking hate my body. Like, I just think it's like a piece of lard, and I want to get rid of all the fucking lard, like, a lot. And we kind of figured out that basically I have OCPD, which is obsessive compulsive personality disorder, which kind of means you really like you're really kind of rigid and flexible about like your beliefs. It's also kind of the, place for everything in its place sort of deal. Like, I have to have things arranged like precisely. It's not specifically that I'm OCD about it. Like, I don't have to repeat an arrangement 10, 15, 20 times. I don't have intrusive obsessive thoughts. It's like the compulsion for everything to be right. Everything has to be right. If it's not right, then the world is going to collapse or something. And right can be a little variable, but like, I put all my dishes in exactly the same places all the time. Everything in my fridge is organized. Everything in my pantry stays in the same place. Everything in every cupboard. In my bedroom, like, knickknacks don't move. If I put up a poster in one place, it stays there. Like, I'm even looking across the way here, and I can see that I did have to rearrange my living room because I couldn't stand it the way it was. It brought back basically way too many negative memories of me sitting there and, like, being eating disordered and, like, starving myself and all that shit, and all the being lonely and shit like that I used to go through so much, and I still kind of do, although it's a little bit lesser at this point for reasons I can explain later. But anyway, like, I purposely, meticulously arranged it so that it was even, like, that it seemed even to me. And people, like, and everything is done like that. Everything. And I just, I thought I was just, like, mildly OCD, but I can see, like, all the OCPD traits, like, kind of how they manifest themselves in my life now. And it's kind of creepy. And my mom completely has it as well. And it explains so much shit. It basically explains everything she's ever done to me that I felt was completely awful and horrible. And I knew there was something fundamentally wrong with her. I mean, she would never admit it. She never thinks she has a problem, but OCPD, you don't know you have a problem. I mean, I still don't even really think it's a problem. I'm like, well, if it doesn't hurt anybody to have my things arranged in a certain way, then why shouldn't I do it if it makes me feel more comfortable? It's not like it takes a lot of time out of my day. It's not like I'm impaired in my life because I like my knickknacks in a certain order or my dishes go in a certain cupboard. I mean, unless people are over, and then like for example, I do all the dish drying because nobody knows where to put anything. Like my dad will just stick random things in random cupboards. I'm like, no, you can't do that. So I do the drying. I hate drying, but it makes my life a lot simpler because I just know I'll put everything in the right place, and then I'm not anxious about it anymore. I mean, I don't know. Like, yes, there's something a little bit wrong with that, but also, I don't know. Like, whatever kind of thing. And yeah, I've been trying to eat as little as possible, but I have gone out for meals, and like last night I did eat. I was over at a sort of not really boyfriend's house. It's complicated. And yeah, physical things have gone on, and I was hungry, even though I've been taking diet pills. I've been taking the ones that are supposed to suppress my fucking appetite, and apparently I was still hungry. Seemed like I mean, I don't know. Maybe the physical stuff makes you hungrier, and it seems likely to me, but like I ate a whole pack of plain freaking Mr. Noodles. Like, and I had 2 granola bars before I went over, like, not just regular granola bars, like the Nature Valley ones that have, like, more calories and stuff, and I just feel like I'm never going to lose weight this way. Ever, ever, ever. And I'm the kind of person who likes to see a 2 or 3 pound loss in a week, and I'm gonna be lucky to, like, lose a pound a week on this sort of shit, and I just... like, I don't want ED to be there, but ED is there, and it's a comfort, sort of, and I wonder if I'd even be able to tackle this issue in therapy without it. I wonder if I would be stable enough to even speak of it again if I didn't have ED as my crutch right now. I don't know, and it's too scary and too hard to try to find out because I'm really afraid that something worse is going to happen. Because that kind of shit has happened so many times, and if I end up in a hospital, I can't explain because I can't tell anyone because it's too personal. Like, I'm not just going to tell it to some random psychiatrist or nurse. It's not going to happen. I mean, my therapist only knows because I trust her so much. Like, so it's like big secrets, big mysterious shit, and I swore I'd never do that again, but this issue is just, it's too much. I can't have a lot of people on it. I just can't. I mean, maybe someday I'll be able to own it. I don't know. I mean, if I could, and I could write about it, and, like, somehow get it out there. I was thinking about writing a book about my life, because not a lot of people have seriously complex illnesses like I do. I mean, like, 3 personality disorders, an eating disorder, depression, anxiety, like... I mean, I've friggin' run the gamut except for bipolar and schizophrenia. Like, I fucking had it all, practically. Except, I guess, well, ADD, autism, and stuff. But it's like I'm on kind of the obsessive-compulsive spectrum, and then the anxious spectrum, and then, like, the emotional/impulsive spectrum. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, like, what the fuck is my life, you know? Like, how did all this shit happen in my head all at once? Like, it's kind of really fucked up to think about. But, yeah, I guess this is my update. Yeah, because I know a lot of you don't know kind of what Homewood was about or whatever. But if you have any questions, like, send me an ask. You can do it anonymously if you want, I don't mind. Or leave a comment on this video, whatever. And I will continue to keep trying to make the closed captions. It does take a long time, but I mean, I highly feel that somebody who's deaf should be able to watch my videos if they want to, and I do have at least one friend who's deaf who also has an eating disorder who, if she ever wanted to watch my videos, you kind of can't with the shitty captioning system that YouTube has. I mean, they don't even interpret half the words right. I've seen it. Like, I've tried to watch it on my own videos, and it's completely ridiculous. And I'm just like, guys, yeah, I need to fix your captioning system or just disable the damn thing, which is usually what I do. Which is why I like to make my own, because I know what I said, and I can kind of time it such that, like, there's a certain way they time things when they do closed captioning for the hearing impaired that you can kind of catch all the words, but sometimes it'll be a little bit like they might say a few words in advance, or they might leave them up a little bit longer so that people like can read at a reasonable speed. Because I know I talk pretty fast, so sometimes that needs to happen for me. Anyway, I'm just kind of blabbing on at this point. But yeah, that's the reason for that, and that's why I do it. And that was the update about, let me see, the Homewood, the eating disorder. Self-harm has been minimal to none. There was like one day when I really went at it, just when I felt really, really, really self-hating. Basically, you know, after the first session where I told my therapist this year. But that was really it. I'm trying not to cut because of the physical stuff with the boy. Because he doesn't like to see it. He doesn't, you know. And I can understand that because it's a sign that I'm doing badly. It's a sign that things may be getting worse. And, you know, I don't, you know, he spent enough time not being attracted to me because of my weight. I don't want him to be not attracted to me now because I'm full of scars or new, you know, scabs and new cuts. Like, I have enough scars on my body already. And the suicidal stuff really isn't present at all if I either use my coping skills or, in this case, do something different. Which is a negative coping mechanism, but I guess it's still a coping mechanism, you know? I keep saying I'm going to end this video, and then I don't. So, I think I'm actually going to end it this time. So, yeah. Any questions, ask whatever. It's cool with me. And I hope you are all having a decent day. Bye.